Greetings once again. I'd like to talk to you about Tricare for a few moments. Tricare open season opens Monday, November 8th and ends Monday, December 13th. So what does that mean? It means if you are in Tricare right now and you're happy with your plan, you don't have to do anything. But if you're, for example, in Tricare Prime, you want to go to Select, now's the time to do it. So you need to go to Tricare and log on to their website and change your preferences, so forth. So, I do want to mention something about Tricare Reserve premiums, and it's sort of close to my heart because of the fact that enrollees in Tricare Retired Reserve will see a 3.6 monthly premium jump to $502.32 from $484.83 for individuals. Why am I addressing this? Because in my opinion, I'm not a reservist, but in my opinion, we are working the reserves to no end. In other words, they're being mobilized, they're being sent. They were sent to Afghanistan, they're sent to Iraq, they're sent to the Gulf. And Congress recognized that by the National Defense Authorization Act of 2008, where they came out with a program for these reserves that are mobilized. They can deduct 3 months off their retired pay month. In other words, age 60, they can reduce it to 359 and 9 months, but it kept going. I know personally reservists that are retired at age 55 because of the number of times they've been mobilized. However, they're not eligible for the Tricare full benefit until they're age 60. And these payments, for example, $502.32 for an individual, is really, in my opinion, needs to be looked at. For example, a family enrollment with Tricare Retired Reserve Select, $1,206 a month, where we as full retirees, $600 a year for Prime. So where is the justice there? And I really suggest you contact your elected officials about that. The Tricare annual enrollment fees, no doubt, are going to see an increase. As many of you have probably heard, the cost of living increase is now being estimated between 5.5 to 6.2%. Obviously, that's going to impact your Tricare fees as well. You're going to see an increase both in Prime and Select. Of course, those figures at this juncture have not been released, but we do expect they be released by the time we air this virtual rad. October 1st, 2021 marked the 20th year of Tricare for Life. And you know, those of you that are enrolled in Tricare for Life, is a great gift that we have. It ties into Medicare, it's a wraparound coverage, and if Medicare pays, Tricare will pick up the difference, no co-pays. So you need to take a look at looking at that. The Tricare for Life is a simple program. And how do you enroll in it? It's very simple. There are no forms for you to submit or paperwork to complete. As long as you are already Tricare eligible, according to the Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System, DEERS, you have purchased Medicare Part B, you're automatically enrolled in the Tricare for Life program. Now, Medicare enrollment, there's no enrollment fee for Tricare for Life, as I mentioned. However, beneficiaries must purchase Medicare Part B to be eligible, as I mentioned also. So, how does that work? You're going to receive a red, white, and blue Medicare card 3 months prior to your 65th birthday, and that Medicare card will show that you have Medicare health insurance, both Part A and Part B, and so forth. So the issue is, if you do not want to enroll in Medicare at that time, you're going to return the card, but that information will be provided in the letter you received from the Medicare people. As far as a Tricare ID card for medical, there isn't any. You can simply use your military ID card in addition to providing your Medicare card to particular doctors and so forth. Retirees who are also federal civil service retirees, I know a few of these people, and for some reason they rather pay that $400 and some odd a month, because apparently they say they don't really trust the Tricare for Life program. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you look at Tricare for Life and the record we've had for 20 years, it's going well. No co-pays, doesn't cost you a penny. All you're paying for is your Medicare Part B premium. And if you're interested in canceling your federal employee health benefit, call the Office of Personnel Management at 1-888-767-6738 to get a suspension form. I want to talk a little bit about, we hear a lot about the Medicare Advantage plans. My question is, why would anyone want to go into a Medicare Advantage plan? Because you're going to have co-pays with Medicare Advantage, and they also are a HMO, which means you got to go where they tell you. With Tricare for Life, as long as a physician takes Medicare, you're automatically covered by the Tricare for Life program. So anyway, make the story short, really look at Medicare Advantage if that's really right for you. When you read or hear about a zero premium plan, realize you will pay your Part B premiums regardless of whether you're under original Medicare or Medicare Advantage. All zero means is that you do not pay above your Part B premium. So just take a look at that Medicare Advantage and see, does it really work for me? Tricare pharmacy co-payments to increase in 2022. If you get your prescription through Tricare Pharmacy home delivery, or you go to a Tricare retail network pharmacy, if so, you're going to pay anywhere from $1 to $8 more in co-payments starting January 1st. So that's just for you to know. If you're near a military treatment facility, of course your prescriptions remain free. We've heard a little bit about DEERS, and it's obviously very important that you keep DEERS up to date, and because they actually control your Tricare benefit. We had a case here at Subbase, a retired chief called up and he says, hey, I lost my Tricare benefit. Well, looking into it, he was in a Tricare, at that time, Select program, and he had been moving around, and Tricare Select has co-pays, and anyway, they weren't being paid, so Tricare just cut him out of the program, simply because he did not keep his address up to date with DEERS. So how do you do that? You can go to an ID card office, or you can log on to http://millconnect.dmdc.osd.mil, or you can call 1-800-538-9552. That will give you a link to update your DEERS record, but make sure you do that. And death benefits, we periodically get calls here at Subbase for burials at sea. There are very different ports of embarkation and coordinators, namely Norfolk, Virginia, Jacksonville, Florida, San Diego, California, Bremerton, Washington, Honolulu, Hawaii. For burial at sea, contact is toll free 1-866-787-0081. So anyway, action items. You should create a retiree checklist, which survivors should know. Very often, a person comes into the office, a widow. My husband didn't tell me a thing. I don't know anything, and that's more often than not. So please create some sort of a record and tell your spouse where your papers are, what to expect. And for example, I got to go back to retired military pay. If your spouse did not participate in the survivor benefit program, retiree pay stops on the day of his death. You're not entitled to half of his pay or any portion of it unless he participated in the survivor benefit program. That does not rule out the AOP, the arrears of pay, which we talked about earlier. But as far as long range, no. And of course, you heard from a Navy Relief, available resources after retirement. You may get some financial assistance from those folks. Legal services are still available to retirees at a respective base. That includes wills, powers of attorney, and etc. And of course, our military retiree appreciation days, we hope to keep you up to speed on what's going on currently. And of course, if your address is up to date in DPass, email address, you will receive an email notifying you that your respective service military retiree newsletter is available for download. Within the Navy, that's called Ship's Colors, and it comes out quarterly. But these retiree letters have a lot of good information as it applies to our retired life. I have a little cartoon here. I think you need a hearing test, and the husband says, "What the heck do I need a hairy chest?" And why did I put that in there? Because we now have a retiree at cost hearing aids program. What that is, hearing aids at DoD cost for retirees and spouses are greatly reduced. Not all clinics, for example here in Groton, they do not participate in this for spouses. They do for the retiree, but not spouses. However, Naval Branch Healthcare in New England in Newport does have this program in effect. So if your spouse needs a hearing aid, contact your nearest military treatment facility and ask whether or not they're participating in this hearing aids at DoD cost. ID cards, Rapids appointment scheduler. There's we call it Rapids. Google Rapids, and that'll bring you up a website to show you where your nearest ID card issuing office is. We now have a next generation uniform services ID card, and I can show you mine. It's no longer the laminated one, it's a hard plastic. That one right there, hard plastic. They're being issued as an option. You do not have to get one if you do not desire it. However, if your ID card is expiring, you certainly want to contact your local ID card office and apply for that new ID card. And just for all of you folks out there that are approaching 65, guess what? There's an ID card expiration date, and that is your 65th birthday. And what is that? Because you're now eligible for Tricare for Life. Remember, Medicare Part B, Tricare for Life is automatic as long as you're up to date with your ID card and Medicare Part B. We are expecting an annual cost of living increase. I suspect by the time you view this, that figure will be out, but it's going to be close to 6% this year, which is a record. That will impact on other areas. For example, I just talked about the Tricare Prime Select things, that those fees will go up. If your dependent is collecting DIC, Dependents Indemnity Compensation, that will go up. The Social Security obviously is going to go up, but so will your Medicare Part B price. That will also increase as well. As I mentioned about the military retiree newsletters, make sure your email is up to date with DPass and you will get those newsletter notifications. And with that, folks, that completes my little brief, and I want to thank you for your service and so forth. But remember, if you need our assistance, the Retired Activities Office, 860-694-3284. Give us a call.